people that, oh, here we are. We're
Who are
recording on
joining us
YouTube.
on YouTube, yeah.
Just to catch people up, James has got corona. And no,
Don't have corona.
he doesn't have corona. I'm on annual leave. That's the main part of the story
But
here,
I might have corona.
which is why I was telling you to back up. But no, it's okay, James.
Yeah.
You can breathe on me if you want, but I prefer you don't.
I don't want to breathe on you.
Well, okay.
I don't
Don't
like
be that
when people
harsh.
breathe on people. It's gross.
It is gross. You know what else is gross?
What?
Your face. That's right.
Oh, she was very snappy today, aren't you?
I had a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
We just ordered McDonald's, and I got 2 large chips for myself and a frappe. And James, what did you get again? I forgot.
I got a large fries, French fries, and a small chocolate shake. Yeah.
Chocolate shake.
It's a bit too chocolatey.
Well, it is chocolate. What else are you meant to be?
You know,
Like,
sometimes
half and half.
You
You
know,
should be
sometimes-
like, can I have a half, please?
You know, sometimes chocolate can be like nice, and then
Sickly.
sometimes it can be sickly. It's too much like topping.
Oh, maybe they thought it was a topping type of night.
You know how they put like the chocolate stuff inside it and then it gets mixed?
Yeah, it gets a bit like disgusting.
Anyway, do you want
But
to
enough of
introduce
that.
our topic for today?
It's ego. I was like,
I love
arrogance.
Magnum egos.
Oh my god, stop mentioning magnums. I'm going to punch you in the face. I
That's
love a good.
sickly, but it's
Oh,
good.
it's so good. And we went to Coles before this shopping centre here for people that are not in Australia listening. Yeah, we didn't do bugger all, but we should have bought some magnums. But
We should have.
this topic is egos.
Yeah.
Egos. It's an interesting subject. Women have them, even though, you know, stereotypically they don't, but they do. Men have them. Testosterone,
definitely.
we understand. Like, you have a lot going on. You need to just get over yourself. But yeah, egos, James.
So do
Tell
you think
me.
do you think it's to do like obviously ego is in
Oh,
I saw
Look
that
at the hand movements, people.
I saw that they had a a circle.
He's describing this with his hands if people are
Yeah,
wondering what's happening
I'm Italian.
right now. Yeah, that's-
You know how they have the self
yeah.
and then they have the consciousness, the unconsciousness. Then they put the
So it's like the ice cream and then
Yeah.
the chocolate and the almonds.
yeah, and then they also have the ego within the self
Yeah.
as the consciousness,
Yeah.
and then the unconsciousness is the shadow side of yourself
Ooh,
that you're not conscious of, but that's
true.
where you
Like
go
your
from.
personality. You
Yeah,
think you're a good
but the
person,
ego
but you're
is
not.
something that you put out there, and you're conscious of it.
I
You're
agree.
conscious of.
You know
the
you're
thing.
being an asshole, but you're insecure. You don't care. Because you
Is
know
it
why?
confidence though? Maybe I'm just being confident, Jess, and maybe you're just jealous.
Yeah, maybe you're just like reading it wrong and it's your problem, your mummy and daddy issues.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
projecting them onto me.
I mean,
Stop
if you are trying to murder me, like,
that. What?
that took a dramatic turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, ego. A lot of people have it. A lot of people know they have it and they don't change. But what makes someone so egotistical, James?
I think it's just the lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Also, they want to blame other people for everything that's happened. It's
Yeah.
pretty much a victim mentality.
Yeah. Your
that-
life is perfect. Therefore, I'm going to treat you like rubbish because in my eyes, that's the model of perfection. But then you ask that person who you're making fun of, and they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm so far
Yeah.
from the truth. But why are you judging me so harshly without even knowing me?
That happens.
You know?
Yeah.
I think I've got ice cream in my
Have
hair.
you ever had someone do something very egotistical to you?
Oh
With
my
a big
god.
ego?
Name a time and a place. Yeah. You know, looking at these, I've got ice cream in my hair.
How did that happen?
I
Jess?
don't know. Maybe I went to drink my drink because it's got cream in it and it just went for my hair. Yeah, the drink went for my hair, not me.
Yeah.
I think basically I would say, I went to McDonald's once and they ran out of pickles. And I was just like, why? Like, it's McDonald's. What's going on?
Hmm.
And then basically the actual like customer service guy had an issue with me. He's like, why do you want pickles? Like, there's so many other things you can put on a sandwich. I'm just like, well, the cheeseburger is known for pickles. Like, what's the problem? And then it was just me in the drive-through just arguing with this guy. I'm like, that's okay. I can back up. There's no cars behind me. Just let me be. So clearly, I just asked for pickles. Like, just asked nicely for pickles. And then all of a sudden, you know, but then everyone has a bad day. I get it. You have to, you know, take it with a grain of salt, so to speak. But at the same time, just shut up, all right? Nah, it's just,
Is
look.
that your ego talking?
Of course not, James. I would say, you know, it
Because-
stems from a lot of insecurity, a lot of problems that you're not dealing with yourself, so you project it to other people. That's the whole bullying thing, yeah? It's the same thing, same bucket, same boat, if you want to place it all into one bucket
Yeah.
or boat. Yeah. What about you, James? When was it? I don't know how that entered into my mind. There's so many other more important stories, but because I'm looking at McDonald's right now, that one moment about 5 years ago has stuck with me for life. But James, you tell me a time when someone was a complete and utter egotistical little prick. And don't mention a moment with me, yeah?
Okay, I try not to.
Oh.
Nah. There was this one time in high school where we were just studying for an exam.
Was I there?
No, you weren't. This was when I was doing the Year 12 subject in Year 11 biology.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Anyway,
that.
I just remember sitting down and I was with my lab partner, and she's now like, you know, top
She's
scientist.
famous.
Yeah, top scientist, like really good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
She was a
You
brainiac.
can just see from like the beginning
intelligence.
stages that
And
she
this is
just
the
had it.
first time that I witnessed her just letting her ego get the better of her.
Oh, really?
You know when someone knows that they said what she said to me, word for word, which I still remember to today, because
It
I
stays with you.
have an ego too. So it's
Oh, that's
you know,
good to
it's
know.
the
I
ego and
was
the ego.
not aware. No,
So
I think we
she
all
basically
do.
said to me, "You're no, that can't be the answer, James. That's
That is
silly.
just so
Just
stupid.
That's what she said.
Oh, really?
Like that.
Literally?
That is just so stupid. That can't be the answer. Anyway, what ends up happening is that she gets to the back of the what do you call it? Where the answers are, because we're doing practice exams.
Mm.
And guess who's right?
What
There
did she
was
say?
There was no sorry.
It was. Did she look at you? What did
She
do?
looked at you and she was just like, she didn't
Didn't
say
wanna-
anything.
yeah.
And I was just like, that to me, that was ego. I was just like, that's when you own up to the fact that you were wrong
But James,
and I was right, but she didn't want to. It was
literally,
just
like, there's no other way to say
but
it.
it was like literally, I could see her thinking it through, and then she went on to say, "It's because I didn't think about it properly." And I'm like, why can't you just say? I don't know.
Sorry,
To me,
yeah.
it just was ego.
You know,
Yeah.
another thing, you know, sometimes when that happens, when people stuff up like that, and then they start talking, they start complimenting you.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation too, where they're completely stuffed up. This actually happened at work once. Completely stuffed up. I knew I was right, but I was like, I'm not going to just be a prick and just get it. Like, I know I'm right. If you
I
want to
knew
be,
I was right too, but I was just like,
Yeah.
she's not listening. I'm gonna let it go.
yeah,
And then like she looked at the back at the end, like later, like 10 minutes later, and then she was like, "Oh, you're right." And then
you know, once
she just didn't even say that.
no,
And I was just like, "Oh, you only had a thing." But I was just like, "That's just ego."
I was in that same situation. Not really. I mean, yeah, of course at school. I think that's the highlight because your hormones are up, testosterone, all of it. But basically, I knew I was right. That person was wrong. They figured out they were wrong. And then she started complimenting how my forehead wasn't as big as hers. And I was like, is that a backhanded comment? Like, it's like, what? What are you talking
Is
about?
she talking in rough?
Am I meant to look like Marie Antoinette without me knowing? Like a big ass, what Cleopatra used to shave, like,
Oh yeah.
you know, in order to get the big.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? I was like, all right, I'll take it as a compliment, even though it's probably not a compliment.
It's probably a backhand compliment.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. I just remember her twin sister at the time was just like trying to make her apologize. And I think that was shitting him as well.
She just
Her
wanted to
twin
get out
sister,
of there.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I'm sure you wrote it in her yearbook. The one moment which...
No, I didn't, I don't think. I don't think
Okay.
she actually knows about this, but that's like one lasting memory that stays with me. Just the way she said, "No, you're so stupid." I was
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
I know this
Well,
one.
not really now. But yeah, it's interesting how people handle subjects like that. And you just have to sit back and just, if someone has like,
Corona.
yeah, I'm telling you, I'm like slowly unable to speak because it might be corona. No, James, you're fine.
That serves me right for taking a sip while we were
Podcasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting how people process their stuff ups. And then they try to get out of it, and you're just like, you're stuffing up more because you look like a dumbass. But, it's just interesting.
I think that it's like two types of mentality.
Yep, you got it. One wine in people.
Yeah, so one I think's a soul mentality where it's just like about being able to forgive people and be at peace with it.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to get an award by, getting the right answer or beating someone down the stairs or little things like that. Why are you so competitive? Like, what are you trying to prove?
I think it's very much about being higher, well, not so much higher thinking, but more from a point of view that it's better for the group. Like, it kind of comes back to similar to that, is that like sometimes I feel
this is like the apes. Like, it's just goes back to the basics of the apes. Like, just calm down.
So if we really talk about it, so this podcast, obviously it's you and me, and if our egos fed it too much, then I don't know, to me I just kind of feel it wouldn't work.
This would have ended ages ago, James. Oh, by the way, this Sunday's 6 months.
Bullshit.
Yeah. We started this 6th of June. So this is like the 6th of December coming up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That went so quick.
I know. But there you go, 6 months in.
Yeah.
But very true. It's kind of just like when people are trying to, or they know you're good, but they try to show you that they are better. And then they kind of overtake you and you're just like, what's happening right now?
Oh.
And they really sometimes have no idea what they're doing. And when you point it out to them, they're like, why are you attacking me? I'm like, I'm not attacking you. Just what's wrong with you? But they can't process what they are doing. Like, they're trying to go ahead of you.
I saw that. I've been watching stupid reality TV shows on Netflix. And there's this one called Below Deck. Anyway, it's about all these sales people and everything on a yacht.
Yeah.
And like, this lady gets complimented by like the photographers in the first episode and whatnot. And then the other girl can't take it, that she received a compliment from the photographers.
Majority of the time they can't, yeah.
So her ego feeds into it, and you can see her consciously thinking. And
it's
then
a body language too, yeah.
Yeah, and then she starts talking about herself and talking about her body and everything. And I was just like, and the other lady was just looking at her, just being like, she couldn't let me have that moment in the spotlight. Like, she needed her ego fed by them, and then she came out in a costume. It's like dealing with a child. Yeah, she came out in a costume after that, like wanted to like prove herself and how good she looked and everything. Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh, do you have high heels?" Like, blah blah, because she was shorter than the other. Of
course she was. This is why she's conscious about her height.
Yeah, so and I was just like, it was
to buy a pair of stilts, like, what's the problem?
To be honest with you, I think the ego, when you really think about it, is caring what other people think.
It's having no self-confidence. What about setting some goals or thinking to myself, okay, that person has done that, admitting to yourself that person has done something better than me. What can I do to improve myself? That's how you get self-respect from people. You don't have to tell that person.
But it's
like,
not
why
even
is
that, to be honest. It's
it's not.
Comparison. Like,
no, but to actually, the way that I look at it, whenever I saw someone better than me, I was like, okay, that person does that like that. Why don't I try something but do it my own way?
Yeah.
That's how my mind works. My mind's not going to be like, oh, I hate that person, they're too tall. I'm not tall enough, and then they get ticked off without you even mentioning hello to them. They're already ticked off, and you're just like, I've also been in those situations. I'm a skinny girl, but I've been told by a couple of people that I'm fat, and I know I'm not fat. But and then a couple of years down the line, I ran into the same set of girls, and they're like, sorry, I just couldn't handle that you were so pretty and skinny. And I was like, yeah, but I don't see myself as that. I just see myself as Jess. You're putting me on a pedestal, and even I don't understand because of your insecurities. And then they didn't understand what I was saying. And then I'm pretty sure they would have gone home and would have thought about what I was saying. But it's just, you know, we've all been through it, one end of the spectrum or the other.
Yeah.
It's just...
What about bosses who let their ego, you know, managers?
Oh,
bosses?
yeah. You know, the ones that shouldn't be in their position, but they ask is their way there. Yeah, I've been through a few of those over time, especially in hospitality.
And they try and micromanage you?
Yeah, you know why? I've been in that position too, in
So
hospitality. You know why? Because they probably can see that you're doing it better than them, and they're scared that you're going to overtake them and take their position.
Yeah, it's very much comes from a fear, I feel, the ego.
Yeah, because you think, like, growing up for me, I thought that I was doing a bad job.
There's only one spot.
Yeah.
I need to maintain this. They might take my manager, you know, role.
Can you imagine their minds? They're probably insomniacs. They probably don't switch off when they leave the office.
And it's like,
and they're probably like that at home too.
I've been given this chance. I need to hold on to this chance.
Yeah.
I need to do everything to help.
I came from nothing. I got to make sure that I just maintain this. Oh, that person's better than me. Let's just shit all over them. It's that mentality, that mind. But the thing is, when you're so targeted on one person and bringing them down, you forget your own spiritual growth, your own growth as a human being. And then those people sit back and they're just like, oh, why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? And you're just like, well, what did you do to improve yourself? You just whinge, bitched, and moaned about other people.
Yeah. I think it's also about accepting defeats and losses. I think that...
they come and go, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I think when it's the ego, it's all, like, it's the end or nothing, if that kind of makes sense. It's like, comes from that victim kind of mentality that...
Oh, this always happens to me.
And then also, you know, they were all plotting against me.
Yeah, that's how they're able to process, though. They can't take the fact that they're just not that good as someone else. So let's blame the government, you know.
The elections are fraud.
Yeah. Oh, he's still going. I was actually watching it for the first time. I put on the news, and it was Trump in full force with a graph. I don't know if you watched it yesterday. He had a graph, and he was just like, look at the statistics from each day or something. It was like a map of like dates, like a calendar sort of a thing. I was just like, oh my God, like there's nothing you can do. What do you want to do? There's nothing you can do now. So shush and get another spray tan is what I say. But yeah, it's just interesting because you know, and then sometimes when you know you're right and other people accuse you of having an ego too. And then the truth will always come out in the end. We'll just put it that way.
I think the world has a way of dealing with people with big egos.
Oh yeah, you just leave them be. And you notice, like, when someone has a problem with you, 99.9% of the time there's other people in the room or other people you don't know about that has the exact same problem. But they're not, you know, speaking up, or they don't know that you have the problem, is what I feel as well. And then the universe just deals with them. You see in life, like, you hear stories. I've heard a few stories in my time. And I'm like, well, it makes sense, but wow, the universe really did me a favor in ways that I couldn't even. This is why I'm like, never seek revenge, because there's no point. The universe has a way of doing it 10 times better than I can even like figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So you just drop it, move on, improve yourself.
I think revenge is something from a very egotistical type of view.
The extreme.
Yeah.
Just calm down once again. Like, what's the point?
It comes from a victim mentality, and then also not wanting to make them feel
better.
Yeah.
And it's never the subject at hand. It's something completely different. That's the core.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to blame you because you're an easy target.
I'm going to blame you because I'm going to throw you under the bus because it makes me look good.
Yeah. Yep, but then that's bad karma, I say, eventually.
Absolutely.
But if you want to, you know, take the shortcut and succeed, you'll probably do better than me in the moment. But at the end, I'm going to kick ass by just being me. Yeah, people find out. The truth always comes out.
I think, though, when it comes down to it, Jess, it's like very much, yes, you've got to be like confident in yourself and have like, self-confidence, but it's
Yeah.
also about being self-aware and knowing when to not take the spotlight out of someone.
Yeah.
It's like, let someone
that
have their
person
moment.
did a good job. Clap.
You
And
know
if
what
they
I
keep,
mean? Like,
if they
in a
keep,
sh-
do, this is another thing. When people do well, they'll clap once, and then they get insecure, and they're just like, oh, okay, this person is now doing really well. They're going to overtake me, and then they stop, like clapping, for example. I say, just keep on clapping. Your time will come.
Absolutely. There's plenty of time and space on the stage for everyone to have their moment.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I remember is that when someone is egotistical, they don't want anyone else on the stage. They try and when
So they
you're
get
on
the
stage,
victims. This is like Andy Warhol was kind of like sort of like a mentality where the story goes he had a lot of people with mental issues, let's say, and he had the spotlight and he used people and went through people like that. But then what's wrong with him is my question. And I think in the end he got shot once, he survived, and then he died of like a disease or something like that.
Something.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but
I think when it comes down to it is that you have to feed the ego a little bit,
yeah,
but you
a
can't.
balance, eh?
You need to be self-aware. You need to know when you're going too far, when it's all about you.
People know, though. People know, and they do it anyway. But if you're aware, and if you're aware to change it,
yeah,
I think that's rare. You get people that just have no idea, and then you get people that know but don't care because I don't care about life. It's that I don't care attitude, so they do it anyway.
They say they don't care, but they actually do.
They do. They probably care more than you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to show my colours to you because the world's against me.
Why is it against you?
I know. Why is it against you?
Yeah. Do you think it's kind of comes down to the reason that the ego can be such a negative thing is because it's throwing you off balance, where you're becoming so conscious of you that you're putting it to the forefront of everything else, that you can't, what's the word? You're in this mindset of fear of the other or anyone else doing anything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get that validation,
mm-hmm.
you don't get, your ego fed. You don't feel good enough. And then therefore you're always
See, this is the thing.
And it's a vicious
I wonder
cycle.
How these people in school, the popular ones, how far they have dropped. They probably have no one around now because that's all they can handle. They're they had the high and now the high was taken. And now...
Because they had all that validation.
They had all the validation, but then for what? And then they realized, but then it's too late. I wonder. Or maybe they're always like that, and when they get a lot of people around, they revert back to old habits. I don't know. You need to talk to someone with an ego.
Mm. Do you know someone who's very egotistical? Because I try not to hang around someone.
Yeah, they come and go, but when you know and you know in your gut something doesn't fit right, something doesn't smell right, why a big indication I find is when I'm friends with one person and another person's like, oh, why are you talking to that person?
Oh yeah,
that is a huge
ego.
They're like, why are you talking to that person? That person's weird. Very high school, but it still happens. I'm almost 30. Still happens to this day. And you're just like, what is wrong with you? That person is in that person's life for a reason. They're on that life path. What's that got to do with anyone else? Must I only be for you? And then it makes me think, are you using me? What are you doing? And
yeah.
But it's normally direct, sometimes they don't even have to tell you. And it's just the body language when they just look at you talking to one person and they don't like that person.
It's really interesting, isn't it, when there's a clique in a group and there's someone running the show.
Yeah, and then you come through and you tell exactly what the problem is, and then the alpha male sort of so to speak, is just starts not having a go at you. Really, they go to the person that they're controlling, and they're just like, this person's why are you hanging around that person? And then that person that they're like, the insecure person's probably figured it out but doesn't want to leave the clique because they're not secure within themselves to break out of the clique. It's so layered.
Vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle. But when you know, you know. Follow your gut.
Ooey, something.
Chewy, yeah. And from afar. Yeah. From afar, and then you go close and you're like, he looks like a lump of shit.
I do think, though, that the most people with the ego, like, really, when you break it down, like, you know, deep down.
They're just little boys and little girls. Mummy, the world's being mean to me. Yeah. But are you going to be collateral damage or not is the story. Yeah. And I wonder the people that actually stay in those relationships, what that really means about the person.
Who stays in that?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's very layered, but also straightforward, I would think.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think it all encapsulates, you know, you need yourself, your sense of self, you need confidence. You also need a bit of ego. I think the most important thing with the ego is that it's a conscious thing. And I think that if you're conscious enough of it, you can realize when
you're stuffing up or
when you're taking yourself way too seriously and you're taking other people for granted and you're trying to steal the whole show for yourself. And I kind of feel an ego, when I think about it, if it's unbalanced, it wants to bring other people's down. It comes from a lack mentality. It's like, there's not enough room. It's not enough room. I can't have this person doing this. Yeah. It's a power thing as well.
And they drop people quite quickly too. Yeah. They use and they drop.
Another thing is that I think they also will lie and manipulate.
And then you ask them, you tell them, and then it doesn't end well. And you're just like, what's wrong with you?
And then another...
Very unstable person.
Yeah.
Does not have a good core. Did not work on themselves. That just went with the flow or did not do a thing to improve themselves. It was just...
I don't think they go with the flow.
No, I don't think they go with anything. They just overtake to a point where they're alone.
I think it's a control thing, though.
Yeah.
I think it's an absolute control thing, not a go with the flow, easy breezy type of person.
No. As in go with the flow, as in I'm in this situation. What can I do in order to control it? Okay, now it's going this way, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But they try to like contain it within their means and their understanding.
If something happens, they've got like what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, they have a plan, and then they have a plan B. And a plan C, and then keeps going, and you're just like, this person's completely cooked.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just life.
I think also when something goes against them, it's very much...
it's extreme dramatic feeling sort of a thing. Their minds and their emotions must be high, like a vampire, like a heightened emotion sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting, people's foundations and how they react and how they don't react. I can sit here all night talking about it.
I think it's like everyone has different parts of themselves into like different portions. So someone's ego could be huge, someone's ego could be smaller.
Yeah.
And I think like there's got to be a balance, because I do believe that you need some ego in order to be
a fighter in life, to get through things.
But also I think that you need to, you know, sometimes you need to do things for yourself. So you need that ego, you know, to be like, no.
But those are personal goals, you know?
Yeah. And I think that when it's in relation to you personally and you're personally what you're striving for, it's good to have an ego about that.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, people say cockiness, like
it's not
blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
I think at
having
the end
confidence
of the day,
in yourself is not a bad thing at all.
You can say it's thing. And I think like, you know, ego in that sense of like, you know, sports people and everything, you know, it's good. It drives them. It's
kind of like The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. He explains that he's like, you have to have that sort of a mentality in order to win, which is fair. He got a lot of backlash. I remember in that documentary by people years later, they were just like, he's cocky, he's this and that. He's like, but I got us to the championship 6 times. Like, we had to have that mentality. It's very interesting.
Mentality, I don't think you're going to get
Peak.
to that personal goal. But I think the biggest thing from my point of view is that you need to realize, have that self-consciousness that you're striving for that goal. So therefore, you know, that's your own personal goal and what it means to you and everything.
Yeah.
And I think that when you have that, you know, ego and that drive pushing you to that, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
But you know, when you get to that stage, you don't have a need to control others.
Yes.
Right? Naturally.
I think that's the main part, is that as long as you're not controlling others and you're not going from that victim mentality, I think it's fine. If it's personal and you're striving for that, that's fine. And, you know, other people will be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who cares? Yeah. But I think it's like a fine edge with the ego. I think like when you start becoming those negative aspects of ego, throwing people under the bus, manipulating people, and what was the other one? Being a victim. Yeah. I think that is when I also think
you start going downhill real fast.
I do think that as soon as you say that you're a victim, you kind of have that mentality, and you just kind of, I feel you kind of sink.
Yeah, and you're wondering, why is life getting, but you set yourself up for success there.
To be honest with you, it's like a perpetual kind of thing, because you don't have that perspective to be able to be like, don't think of this as a win-loss kind of situation, you know, perpetrator, victim. Yeah. Thing. I don't know, it's just like, to me, I think things are so complicated to simplify it so simply and then put yourself in that, you know, mindset. You're almost setting yourself up for failure, I feel.
Stop overthinking.
Yeah.
I just go with the flow and have confidence in the moment.
And also I think, though, at the end of the day, is that if you do play the victim, like if you do become a victim or whatnot, you are, I don't know, to me, I always think that you're in charge of your own narrative. Yes, things happen to you, but you still have, you know, if you're alive, you still have the ability to go after things and chase things that you want. And I think it's the power of your mind and the power of your conviction and your core and everything that you can achieve whatever you set out to. You are the master of your narrative. If you don't like something, rewrite that story.
Agree.
Yes, you know, something horrible and trauma happens to everyone. But, you know, there's remarkable people who've been through severe trauma and what they're doing with it now.
Yeah, just keep trucking along.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's it, is it?
There we go. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Go buy McDonald's, everyone. Bye.